Hey everyone, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
So today we're going to be diving deep into something I think a lot of junior developers struggle with,
For sure.
which is, do I focus on frameworks or fundamentals
Frameworks are fundamental.
when I'm first starting out?
Yeah.
And there's a really great article that we found that kind of tackles this head on, which is called "Should Junior Devs Stop Focusing on Frameworks?"
It's a good question.
Yeah.
A lot of people are asking that.
And it's a really interesting take because they don't necessarily say yes or no.
Right.
They explore both sides, and we're going to do that today, too.
Yeah, we'll weigh the pros and the cons.
Yeah, so you can make the best decision for you.
Exactly.
So let's start with, I guess, what's really tempting when you first get into coding,
Okay.
which is frameworks.
Right.
They're exciting.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got React, Angular, Vue.js, Django, Ruby on Rails, all these things. And they promise you that you can build something really impressive really fast.
Yeah,
Especially if you're just starting out and you just want to see results.
absolutely.
That's super tempting.
And it's hard to avoid.
Yeah, and then you look at the job market and every job wants you to know React.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
I feel like every job description I see wants someone who's a senior level React developer with 1 year of experience.
right. Yeah,
Man,
it's like, how is that even possible?
it's not, but
But it's like, okay, well, then I need to learn these frameworks.
yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on, especially for junior developers trying to break into the industry.
Yeah.
And you just,
So is it wrong to focus on frameworks?
I think it's good to understand the good and the bad,
Okay.
because there are definitely upsides.
Yeah, let's start with those.
Sure.
Because there's a reason they're popular, right?
Exactly.
So what's so good about these frameworks?
Well, the article kind of makes a really good analogy about them being like prefab building kits,
I like that.
for your code.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like starting completely from scratch,
Yeah.
you've got all the,
Components,
and the tools, and it speeds things up.
like a house.
Like a house.
You're not sawing the lumber yourself.
Exactly.
You're getting pre-built walls.
Yeah, pre-built walls, roof trusses, all that stuff.
Yeah, so you can actually focus on the overall structure.
Yeah.
And not on every little detail.
Which is really helpful when you're learning,
Yeah.
because it lets you focus on what the app should be doing and less about,
You can build something cool,
exactly, build something cool and complex more quickly.
which then you can put in your portfolio.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is how you get a job,
And then you can get a job.
hopefully.
Yeah. So it's like there's a very clear path there.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, you can't forget about the massive communities surrounding all these popular frameworks.
Oh, yeah. Like the
the-
Stack Overflow.
Stack Overflow, yeah.
It's like you're never alone.
You're never alone,
If you have a problem at 2M,
right?
someone has already had it and posted about it.
Somebody's been there before.
Moy answered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's super valuable.
And, most frameworks follow industry best practices.
Right.
So even if you don't know the best practices, you're kind of learning them as you go.
Yeah, you're learning those good coding habits
Yeah.
from people who know better than you, ideally.
It's like having a mentor built in.
Yeah, like a built-in mentor.
I mean, it sounds pretty good so far,
It does.
but I know there's another side to this.
There is another side.
We wouldn't be talking about it if there wasn't.
Exactly.
What are some of the downsides that this article brought up?
Well, I think one of the big ones is you run the risk of not understanding how code really works.
Oh.
When you're working within a framework,
Yeah.
a lot of the complexity is kind of hidden from you
Uh-huh.
behind all these convenient tools and functions.
It's like driving a car, but you don't know how the engine works. You can get from A to B.
You get to where you need to go.
Yeah, but if something breaks down,
Yeah.
you have no idea.
You're stranded.
Yeah.
You don't know how to fix it.
So you can build something,
Right.
but you don't understand.
You don't know what's really happening under the hood.
Yeah, and that can be a problem.
It can be a big problem.
Yeah. Especially if you need to do something that the framework doesn't do.
Exactly.
Or something goes wrong.
Yeah, and then what do you do?
What do you do?
Right, you're stuck.
And this is where I guess the fundamentals argument comes in, right?
Yeah.
Like you understand the core concepts.
Mm-hmm.
You're not limited by the framework.
Exactly. You're not limited by that box.
Yeah.
You can go beyond.
You can build anything.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not just a driver, you're like a mechanic.
A mechanic.
You can build the car yourself.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Or at least it's a good goal to have.
But the framework, is that bad then?
I don't think it's necessarily bad,
Okay.
but I think the article is urging us to think about,
Yeah.
what are the long-term implications of just relying on frameworks.
Okay, so frameworks aren't bad, but
Not bad.
maybe not the best
Maybe not the only thing.
to focus on.
Yes.
Okay, so then what is this fundamentals thing all about?
Well, let's dig into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. Let's take a break. All right, so frameworks, great tools,
Yeah,
but maybe not the only thing.
not the whole story.
So let's talk about this fundamentals. What's
Wait.
the big deal?
Well, think of fundamentals like the roots of a tree.
Okay,
They're not the flashy part.
not the part you see,
You don't see them,
right?
but they're what make the tree strong.
They're essential.
Yeah, they're what let it grow tall and withstand those storms.
So frameworks are like the leaves, the branches
The pretty part.
that everyone sees, but without the roots.
Without those strong roots, the whole thing collapses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And same goes for developers.
Okay.
Those core concepts, they're what allow you to adapt and grow.
So what exactly are those core concepts?
Well, we're talking about things like data structures,
Okay.
algorithms,
Yeah.
design patterns.
And why are those so important?
Well, for one thing, they give you a much deeper understanding of how code actually works.
Instead of just like
Yeah,
plugging things in.
instead of just copying and pasting from Stack Overflow,
You actually know what's going on.
you know why things work the way they do.
Okay.
And that allows you to solve problems more effectively.
So it's like knowing how to bake a cake from scratch
Exactly.
versus just using a box mix.
You know all the ingredients.
You can improvise,
You can improvise. You can troubleshoot if something goes wrong.
and you're not stuck if you don't have the box.
Right, exactly.
And that adaptability
Yeah.
is really important in this field.
Oh, absolutely, especially since things are constantly changing.
New languages, new frameworks, all the time.
It never stops.
It's like a treadmill.
And if all you know is the one framework that's popular right now,
Yeah.
you're going to get left behind.
You're going to be stuck.
But if you have those fundamentals,
You can pick up anything.
it's like having a universal translator.
A universal translator for code.
I like that.
Yeah, you can speak any language.
That's pretty powerful.
It is, and it gives you a lot of freedom.
Freedom to learn
Freedom to choose your own path.
and freedom to solve problems.
Because, let's be honest, coding is all about solving problems.
Right. And the better you are at that,
Yeah,
the better developer you'll be.
no matter what tools you're using.
So it's not just about coding.
No.
It's about thinking,
It's about thinking logically,
breaking things down.
analyzing problems.
And that's valuable in any career,
Oh, absolutely.
even if you don't end up as a developer.
These problem-solving skills are transferable.
So all that time spent studying algorithms,
Yeah.
it's not just for coding interviews.
It's an investment in your future. I like how this article frames it.
Me too.
It's not just about the technical skills.
It's about the bigger picture.
So, okay, we've talked about the benefits of fundamentals.
Yeah.
But let's be real.
I-
A lot of us are learning to code
Right.
because we want a job.
We want to get paid.
Exactly.
So how do these fundamentals actually help you get hired?
That's the question, right?
Yeah, because you see all these job postings asking for specific frameworks.
It can be discouraging.
It can be.
But this article actually argues that having strong fundamentals can give you an edge.
Even if you don't have all the fancy frameworks listed on your resume.
Really?
Yeah, because companies are starting to realize that those core skills
Yeah.
are more valuable in the long run.
More valuable than knowing the latest framework.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Especially those big tech companies.
You know, the Googles, the Facebooks.
The Amazons of the world.
They're known for their tough interview processes.
Oh, yeah, they put you through the ringer.
Lots of algorithms, data structures.
They want to see how you think,
They want to see your problem-solving skills.
not just whether you can memorize syntax.
So even if you're not aiming for a big tech job,
Yeah,
those fundamentals are still important.
absolutely.
They make you a better developer overall.
And a more attractive candidate.
Okay, I'm starting to see the value here.
Good.
But how do we actually find that balance?
Well, that's where this roadmap comes in.
The roadmap that the article talks about.
Exactly.
Let's dig into that. Okay, so we've talked about frameworks, we've talked about fundamentals.
Both sides of the coin.
But how do we actually find that sweet spot?
Yeah, the balance.
That balance.
Well, the article lays out a pretty interesting roadmap.
Okay, tell me more.
It's not about saying no to frameworks altogether.
Okay.
It's more about like strategically using them.
Strategically, I like that.
Yeah, after you've built a good foundation.
So it's not an either.
Yeah.
It's like a
Both. Yeah.
progression.
A progress.
All right, so where do we start with this roadmap?
Well, the first step is mastering a core programming language.
Okay, so like pick your favorite.
Pick your weapon.
Yeah, Python, JavaScript, Java, whatever it is.
Whatever clicks for you.
Yeah.
and really get comfortable with it.
Like really understand it.
Yeah, like inside and out.
Syntax, the logic, the quirks, all of it.
Yeah, you got to know it like the back of your hand.
No frameworks yet, right?
Resist the temptation.
Okay, got to build that base first.
Build that solid foundation.
But I'm guessing vanilla code is the way to go here.
Exactly. Get those hands dirty.
Yeah, build things from scratch.
Write every line of code yourself.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts.
I mean, it's going to be slow.
It might feel slow at first.
Especially compared to using a framework.
Yeah, you won't see those flashy results right away.
But it's worth it in the long run, right?
Absolutely. This is where the real learning happens.
You're thinking through every step.
You're making decisions, solving problems.
You're not just following a recipe.
You're becoming a chef.
Okay, I'm liking this analogy. So once we've mastered our language, built some stuff from scratch...
Then it's time for the fun part.
Uh-oh, what's the fun part?
Data structures and algorithms.
Oh, yeah, the bread and butter of coding interviews.
Exactly.
Everyone's favorite topic.
Maybe not everyone's favorite.
But it's important we know that.
It's essential.
So this is where we get into things like arrays, linked lists, sorting algorithms.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that makes your brain hurt.
It's a good kind of hurt.
Yeah, the kind that makes you a better developer.
It's like a mental workout.
And the article mentioned a website for this, right?
Algo Expert.
Algo Expert.
Yeah, it's a great platform for practicing these concepts.
So it's like a boot camp for your brain.
Exactly. You get to solve all sorts of challenging problems.
Get those problem-solving muscles in shape.
And it really helps you prepare for those tough coding interviews.
So after we've conquered data structures and algorithms...
Then we move on to design patterns.
Design patterns, okay.
These are like reusable solutions to common problems.
Like templates.
Yeah, like blueprints for your code.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
Exactly. You can leverage the wisdom of those who came before you.
And this is where frameworks start to make more sense, right?
Right, because now you have the knowledge to understand how they work.
You're not just blindly following the rules.
You can actually make informed decisions.
You can see the bigger picture.
We're like an architect.
Building a masterpiece.
With a solid foundation.
This roadmap is pretty awesome.
It's a good guide.
So it's not about frameworks or fundamentals, it's about both.
Working together.
In harmony.
To create amazing things.
Oh, it's a journey.
It's a continuous learning process.
Always something new to learn.
Always a new challenge to tackle.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely.
So to our listeners out there, keep coding, keep creating, and keep pushing those boundaries.
Don't be afraid to dive deep.
And remember, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Enjoy the ride.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of frameworks and fundamentals.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll catch you next time.